Alright, in this video we're going to cover the Supreme Court decision on gay marriage and how it may or may not apply to concealed carry permit holders. First of all, I do not believe the Supreme Court had any jurisdiction to rule over gay marriage. I believe that was a decision that should have been left up to churches and to the individuals involved. I don't believe the states have any jurisdiction in it. However, there were publicly passed state constitutional amendments that forbade it, and the Supreme Court has no jurisdiction over state constitutions. It never did. Now, just to cover the meat and potatoes of this, the Supremes used the 14th Amendment, which basically says that the laws in a majority of the way they worded it was that the laws in the majority of the states, if it's legal in, say, 26 states, then it's legal in all 50. This, of course, is a fallacy. This goes back to the incorporation doctrine, but I digress. The meat and potatoes is, if you're going to use the 14th Amendment to legalize gay marriage, you're going to say that it applies to one law, then it must apply to all laws. You can't nitpick and choose which laws you want to enforce and which ones you don't. It's either the supreme law of the land or it's not. Marriage is not mentioned in the Constitution of the United States. However, gun rights are. The Second Amendment is very clear. Now, the Second Amendment mainly applies to militias. It's been warped into applying to every person and citizen. That was supposed to be up to your states, but since the Supreme Court said, hey, look, we'll just incorporate everything in the Bill of Rights, which I don't know how you incorporate the 9th and 10th Amendment to the states when it already referred to the states, but again, I digress. The bulk of it is, if you're going to say that gay marriage, which isn't mentioned in the Constitution, but because 26 states have had their hands tied behind their backs and had to make it legal via a federal judge telling them so, or by votes of the people. I mean, Vermont's, I think, always had it legal. I might be off on that, so don't quote me there. But in most of it, they were forced by court order to acknowledge gay marriage. Then, after being forced, they kept going through the federal court system instead of telling the federal judiciary to go pound sand on it, which is what they should have done. But if you're going to say that gay marriage, which isn't mentioned in the Constitution, is therefore legal binding on all 50 states, and that all 50 states must recognize the said marriage, then the same must be true for the Second Amendment. Do I believe that the federal courts are going to uphold it that way? No, I do not. I don't believe the states are going to acknowledge it that way. I don't even think the states are going to fully acknowledge that gay marriage is legal by some federal edict, which, again, unelected people telling the sovereign people of the United States what to do is, again, vast tyranny that needs to be answered and needs to be accounted for. But in short, should it legalize concealed carry in all 50 states? Yes. Should concealed carry have been legal in all 50 states before this? Yes. Did the liberals just step in a big pile of steaming you-know-what? Possibly. But until there is more guidance from our federal overlords, I would abide by your state laws and continue to do as you have always done, which is to cover your own butt when it comes to firearms. Don't try and go from Pennsylvania to New Jersey with a concealed carry and think that New Jersey's going to recognize it, because New Jersey's going to nullify the Supreme Court on this matter, and you'll be sitting in prison for 10 years waiting to get to the Supreme Court for the Supreme Court to tell you, no, we're not going to hear the case on this, that we were already clear, or we don't think there's a constitutional issue here. So, just be careful, carry on, time's short, get prepared. That's all I have for you right now. I'm sure I'll have more for you later today, or possibly later in the week. Stay strong.